here at the GSL Coda Super Tournament. Not Coda Super Tournament, GSL Super Tournament.
There you go.
And we're happy with today's games. Classic had a fantastic series against Alive.
Yes.
Innovation Time a little bit more one-sided, not just as far as the exact results of 3-1, but just the way the games looked overall.
It was a good series, though, to be honest. I thought that was going to be a blowout. Time took a game. Even game one, I feel like he could have won.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm very happy with that series and overall the whole night. But the night is only half over, my friend.
That's right.
And we got two amazing matches coming up. GuMiho Deer. This is such a good matchup, and it's really hard to predict because Deer is either on or he's off, right? And when he's on, man, he totally can take out GuMiho. Like, I'm not saying like a one-sided, but like an on Deer versus a GuMiho this year, that is a fantastic match.
With GuMiho's recent success in GSL Code S as well this year, I mean, GuMiho just showed that he was on another level. Sort of like the narrative we were talking about with Alive. I was very used to GuMiho being one of these great players who was maybe top 8 sometimes, definitely top 16 in a GSL, but not somebody I think goes to the Final Four or finals. But that's all changed now. He's definitely got to more peak performance. Deer, you're right. Deer is either on or he's off. There seems to be not a lot of middle ground with him. He either has some of the best, most sophisticated, complex Protoss games you've ever seen, or he crashes and burns, sadly.
And overall, his results have been pretty good this year. Like over the last couple of years, he hits round of 8s a lot and stuff like that, round of 4. He's always really good, but it's like when Deer is one of these guys that every pro is like, oh, Deer is so good. And he's like one of the Protosses where everyone's like, he's the best Protoss. And it's like, well, I mean, everything result-wise speaks otherwise. But I understand what you're trying to say. This guy, when he is playing his game, when he is practicing on on the ladder or with the other pro gamers, the guy is a monster. But he hasn't really brought it this year.
Well, he is a Royal Roader. He moved all the way to the top. First season he was in a GSL Code S and won. And I was even joking with you when the day before we started work that day in the round of 32, looking at the player list, and I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if the guy named Deer won? Because we hardly knew anything about him, and we weren't that fond of his idea, his ID, excuse me. We weren't used to it yet, and I'm joking around about it. And then that season he wins and crushes everybody, and I go, okay, well, joke's on me, because he did win the whole thing. But he didn't quite manage to show those solid results since that.
No, that was a great year for him, but quite right. Deer doesn't have the championships that maybe a lot of people saw in his future at that point. So going up against GuMiho, of course, the beginning of GuMiho's fantastic year was in Super Tournament #1, to be honest. Should have actually beaten Hero, I believe it was a round of 8. So hopefully he can show some great form here tonight.
We're going to start things off on Mech Depot. And let's see how this turns out. This is game number 1, GuMiho versus Deer.
Super Tournament, Season 2.
All right, in the upper right, in the blue, he is
Psystorm Gaming, GuMiho.
And his opponent here in the bottom left in the red, he is
Deer.
Ooh. Well, now here's my question for you, sir. Who wins this? Who takes it down?
I'm actually leaning towards GuMiho here.
Really?
Mm-hmm. From Russia. Welcome to the studio, guys. I actually do think it's going to be GuMiho. I think he's in good shape right now.
Yeah.
I think he's still riding that wave of success. I think it's very different overall from the mentality that you would get from somebody like Deer, who is hungry to taste that same success again.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually one of the hardest parts for not just for pro gamers or StarCraft players, but just people of any sport is. At one point in time, Deer was the best player in the world.
Yes, that is
There
true.
was a day where...
a couple days.
Yeah, absolutely.
A month even.
A month even. Well, let's give it a month. Everybody goes, okay, Deer's the best player in the world. He came out of nowhere, destroyed everybody, played on his own terms, and won.
He was a strong, independent Protoss.
That's right.
On a team.
And now, unfortunately, he's trying to reclaim that. You know, it's hard if you go from number one to then not number one. And I feel like Deer is definitely just hungry to get that, whereas I feel like GuMiho is probably still ready in that confidence.
Okay.
Now, beyond that, because some of that is just me psychoanalyzing here, but I also would say I think play style overall, GuMiho seems to be a little bit more modernized. Deer, for me, has a lot of echoes and shadows of, oh my God, that's a really smart move.
Yeah.
That's a really good move right there. I like, oh, this idea is really good, but it doesn't produce those hard results that we're used to seeing.
Well, you know, based off this year, I think GuMiho is the right choice, but I don't know. I got a feeling, that Deer is going to have a good
night. That's what you're saying.
And he's doing this DT build. All right, I'm excited. This looks to me like it's the same build that we saw previously on the Ascension to Ire game, right?
Yeah.
So kind of interesting. Someone did tweet at me during this. Apparently, Neeb used this actually a few days ago.
Oh, didn't see that game. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Right. Oh no. Well, I mean, no. That Robo actually is late enough that he's not going to be able to do the DT drop. It's going to have to be a proxy pylon. So yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be this what we saw in the earlier game. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a really interesting, cool thing to see. And the thing is, this will be solved by Terrans as it gains more traction. There'll just be something like a different eBay timing or an extra safe scan early on.
Exactly.
An earlier wall-in at the front. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can look at this. I don't know exactly which one will come up and destroy this build, but this build can't last forever.
No, it's not. So you can keep doing and keep getting it in there. But DTs have always done this in StarCraft. Okay, we just saw one mule drop. I think the other one was at, like, what should be at 40 or something? 40? Yeah, right now.
Well, if he drops that...
Yeah, this is it. Now, it seems like this is fine-tuned enough that most Terrans just drop. And then you're like, ah! As you run inside their base with the DTs. All right, he's going to drop it. 51.
He started his a turret. So
okay, so he parks it with the mana until the turret's done. Watch this.
Well,
all right, and now that strategy doesn't work, and you've teched yourself into a corner. Well, Stim's about to finish, so that's why this is not okay. Look, he's like, I'm gonna get you.
It's like he'll save scans now because obviously DTs would just stop this dead in his tracks, but this is not a good place for Deer.
No,
certainly not.
Now here comes the War Prism. Now I don't know if there's a lot back at home, but even the Sim City is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. That turret can't be sniped in any way. Like, because he just has a lot of units right now. Oh man, nothing going right for Deer.
Okay.
Oh geez,
those units don't cut it. There's no pylon over there to really help power that. Oh my God. This might be our shortest game of the day. There's a lot of damage being dealt over here. He's pushing with a turret in the back, which is so sick.
God.
Oh, GuMiho.
It's over, man.
Gumi God.
Too much damage.
Again, another day where we're just one of his Gumi bears, man.
Yeah.
This is just it.
What a fool I was. No, that was a bopping.
Wow. So that was not even a bopping. That was like a baboozle.
Now
the strat could have bopped Terran. Terran's like, I'm a genius. And then all across the map, he does everything perfectly and shuts it down. And the Protoss goes, whoa, I'm not using that build anymore.
Well, that build is not meant, I think, to counter exactly what GuMiho did there. GuMiho did go for the quick double medevac stim drop, which is, this is a build that we've seen in all three matchups. Had the most popularity against Zerg. Not as much popularity this year against Protoss, even though we saw Byun use it a lot last year to great effect. But yeah, I mean, this is what Deer was doing there is so modern meta that you need your opponent. Like, it seems like a build that could be good against like an Innovation, maybe, you know, or
yeah,
I guess against Alive in that last series. But GuMiho kind of bringing a different era build, and a build kind of from last year, and smacking it down that game. Okay. But I think that game is not indicative of what the series will look like.
Okay, Newkirk Precinct.
SuperTournament.
Next map, let's do this.
Season 2.
In the bottom right, winning game number 1.
Storm Gaming, GuMiho. Deer.
Over here in the bottom left. It actually happened faster than I thought. I was just going a little bit slower. Deer, our first player to get baboozled. Or what did I say?
Something like
Babizzled
that.
or something like that?
I'm not sure.
He was going for
I never listened to you.
potential bop in there, and then no, the game completely. You know, you're trying something, you're like, oh, there's like a patch comes out, you're like, okay, I got this idea. I'm gonna try this thing online. And queue up a game, and somebody like completely manhandles you with it. Like, you look so bad, he counters it so hard. You're like, oh, I'm sorry.
It happens.
I won't try it again. Thank you for coming down, brother. Hope you're enjoying the games. That was one of those games right there.
Well,
GuMiho's like, never again will you do that. This is what I will do to you in a televised match. I'm going to push you with turrets while having exactly enough scans.
Yeah,
Kill everything.
This is something that happens. You know, this is like the most strategical game on Earth. And, I mean, you do this build that's like so strategically designed to, to kill like very modern builds, and then your opponent does something slightly out of date, and it's like you went one step too far, right?
Yeah.
If it was a more normal build he had done, then GuMiho's build would not have killed him.
Or we would have had a more gradual win and a more gradual loss on both sides, but instead it's like...
But yeah, that was...
And that shows the instinct there of GuMiho. The moment that's thrown in his face, he's already figuring it out as it's happening, what to do to respond with.
And, again, like I was talking about, like this... That game does not mean that this is what the series will look like. Strategically, GuMiho won that, and I mean, he had great responses. I don't know how many times he's hit that specific build now. It is a very new build. He figured out exactly what to do and did it, and just executed Deer. It was brutal, but Deer didn't lose that because he's bad. He lost that because GuMiho was ready and just crushed him. Right? He had a perfect counter to it. So. I'm looking forward to the rest of this match. I think it absolutely is still going to be a competitive match.
You're still rooting for Deer here?
Well, I'm not rooting for Deer. GuMiho is absolutely one of my favorite players. But, Deer, I've heard too much talk about what good shape he's in. I'm ready for him to deliver this here.
Not me, Artosis. I'm a fair weather fan, man. GuMiho's got this 3-0. How's about that for two different casting styles?
Yeah, there you go.
I got my GuMiho #1 thing stuck on my hand, waving it around. I got a cheese hat on for some reason, even though it isn't cheese.
Oh, my. Well, what you should really have on your head is a sweaty rag.
That's right.
That would be the GuMiho hat.
GuMiho towel, yeah. I don't know. I mean, GuMiho over here. Let's see how he handles the first Oracle. There is a mine parked over here.
Well, if you fly right into the first mine, there's nothing sadder to see as the Oracle just fly into a mine in the mineral line. It's like,
it almost looked like the Cyclone hesitated. Yeah. The Cyclone's like, well, this is also technically a robot. Do I really want to kill it? He like glanced up at it with its little Cyclone eyes. If you just pretend that those little missile things are just like big
We're not
eyes.
so different, are we?
Yeah, are we really that different? I could have been a Protoss and you could have been a Terran. I mean, we were just designed this way.
This is all luck.
We need an AI race, all right? That'll be the fourth one that takes over everything.
Oh my God, I love it.
But it did look like it paused for a second. It was kind of funny. So, Cyclone's out here. And we got a small push coming up here. Now, the Oracle's doing damage, but it can't keep doing this. It's eventually going to run out of energy. And, in fact, it's going to be picked off. Now, 6 as he needs is not bad, but That's not the best.
6 SCVs for a Cyclone, you lose your third?
I don't think so. I would prefer to have the third and keep that out. Now, Terran may push in here further and test the waters.
By the way, how sexy is this cloak? Maybe you're right, and this isn't 3-0. That's like truly a sexy move right there. Like the fact that he has killed one Oracle, right? If you just have like 2 cloaked Banshees, when you're on 2 bases like this for this long, because he did get that third cancel, the Robo just comes late. Up. The Robo's just going to be really late, man. You're not going to build any cannons.
Oh my God, there's that mine I was talking about from the start of the game.
Dude, and that was his only other detection. That was it, Tasteless. He's not going to be able to see the Banshees.
Yeah, this is actually a great play. And I mean, even with the threat of this at the front, which is honestly pretty intimidating. Oh, run with that medevac, though. Now, again, it's a depth Phoenix, so you don't always have enough early on as Terran to fight this. But the Banshees are the real scary part, right? Especially with Protoss having a kind of lackluster play early on, you're probably pretty hungry. Oh, what? It's just like there with them?
No.
That was bad. Okay.
Look at GuMiho's face. Okay, you guys didn't get to see it.
GuMiho is smiling.
He just mouthed some words to himself, like, oh my God, and like kind of half smiled.
Yeah, but half smiled, but not really. You know, he's like, oh, that was okay.
Well, that was the only thing that couldn't happen. I was about to say, Tasteless.
Oh, is this a baboozle on the other side?
Well,
this new word that we're using, we're now giving meaning to Ortosis. This is actually, look at this.
Dude, I was about to say when he was killing the army, but you were talking, Tasteless.
Yeah.
That, like, Deer thinks he's doing really well killing this army, but then Cloak Banshee's going to fly and he's basically going to lose all his probes. Instead, the Banshee, right before Cloak finishes, flies into the Phoenixes and dies. It's like, oh no, everything on Earth going wrong for GuMiho. He played this game really well. He really did.
It seemed like the Banshee was rallied in the wrong place on the map.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's exactly
I think it was just rallied with the army, which is so weird because you never would want that rallied on the army if you're going for Cloak and trying to get workers in the main.
I think you're 100% right. It was just a bad rally. And that's like, it's like, well, GuMiho now, I mean, it's going to be 1-1.
Yeah.
You're in really, 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 really bad shape now.
Well, I think it can last, but I think that, like, he was already setting up to get, like, just even more damage in here. It was going to start compounding.
With 0 detection, a Cloak Banshee hitting the main base right then, he kills, like, so many probes. So many. Like, well, let's see. He's even going to get a lot here, to be honest.
But just imagine if this happened, like, a minute and a half ago.
He didn't have a Robo when that first Banshee was out, man.
Yeah.
Like, he would have killed, like, 15 probes with it. It's crazy.
Now he's going to have to settle with 9, Ortosis.
Oh, dude.
It's 10.
However many shots it can get before Cloak runs out as it rallies across the map, that's how many he would have gotten.
He basically would have gotten almost all the workers.
Yeah, yeah. Would have been so crazy. So good.
Invisibility. But the invisible unit doesn't know there's another invisible unit that also sees invisible units watching him. That's the twist here. Okay, but still, you know, this is a lot of workers. 15 now.
Definitely still found value there, but yeah.
We do have a Terran shifting gears here. Really going into power-up mode. It is Deer with basically incredible map control.
Mm-hmm. He has
Phoenix Adept. So many Phoenixes, by the way. He can win fights against lots of Marines. And he's basically okay.
And this is kind of interesting, by the way. Wow, that's a lot of good RAS. Jeez. He's making quite a few siege tanks, and he's actually getting an armory right now, which is not something I expected. I wonder if it's possible he'll make a Thor. Like to help against the Phoenixes or something?
Yeah, well, you know, that's something. There's at least there's no direct answer to that. I don't know. I don't even know how many adepts you need to kill a Thor. It's like a funny fight. We don't really.
Yeah, I don't know.
Save it.
I just wonder because he is making like a lot of siege tanks right now, right? It looks like he's gearing up for a very strong push. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe just get his +1 here. Have his upgrades going.
Okay. Terran is going to try to take a third.
+1, right?
I don't think. Yeah, he should.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I thought he got that a while back. Where's the eBay? He had an eBay
I'm not
forever
sure.
ago.
It's probably just for his upgrades. I just wonder because it is GuMiho.
Well, you know, Protoss has a pretty big supply lead. This isn't the easiest, most breakable point, but, you know, Phoenix Adept doesn't go up in equity the longer the game goes. You normally want to try to do, you know, something with that.
Well, this is something that GuMiho had figured out before almost every Terran on Earth. Like, if you go back and watch Super Tournament #1, where everyone was thrown for a loop against Adept Phoenix, GuMiho played, like, perfectly. He just, like, sat there and, you know, made lots of units. Anyways, just getting those upgrades now. He's stopped. He has a lot of siege tanks, so the siege tanks have a potential to save him here. We'll see. Where are the Phoenixes?
They came in a little bit late, but that might not matter that much. Okay, now he needs to pick up the remainder of these tanks, and he's not going to do that because there are too many Marines back over there.
He's got a lot on the high ground there, so they're kind of protecting. He needs to pull these SCVs
It's kind of awkward because he has, you're right, he has a lot on the high ground, but that's also why Protoss wasn't able to come in and completely smash it. There was enough Marines up there that he would have lost all the Phoenixes. And so now Deer can kind of keep Terran in limbo here economically. Terran's going to try to land this back out over here. Deer has the option, has the luxury to try to gear up for another dive on top of this while expanding all over the map.
Well, as GuMiho's supply rises here, it doesn't make too much sense for him to actually jump in with everything again, I feel. You know, he's getting more Marauders and everything. It becomes very hard at these higher supplies to get your Adepts to attack what you want. They might be attacking Marauders, not doing much damage. And he is switching it up a little bit at home. He's gotten Blink, he's making some Immortals. And the thing is, GuMiho's doing this just right. Look at this, he's about to have +1 vehicle weapons for his siege tanks here. He's about to have 2/2 as well. And his supply is getting high enough that he can move out against this Phoenix Adept play. And his army is going to be really hard to stop.
When you play like GuMiho's playing right now, you're like the virtuous nerd. You know, you're like, watch this, I'm going to play the proper StarCraft 2A now.
Yeah, strategically, he's doing
I'm just going to punish him later on by having more stuff. Now, he is catching these tanks, Deer is, which is actually great. The more active you can be with these Phoenixes and the more damage you can do with them and take stuff out, the better. Whoa! But he says if your Phoenixes are not there with your army, then I can actually just attack right on top of you. Now, the Phoenixes are coming back, but is there just too much infantry here?
I'm not sure exactly. You really need the Immortals to be tanking all these Adept hits. Oh god, that warping from behind, I think that's enough to finish him. That is way too much Protoss now.
Well, it was a cool idea. He saw that the Phoenixes weren't out there. But the moment the Phoenixes got back and picked up the tanks and everything, Immortals also never really dealt with. So that means that Deer does tie it up now, 1-1. Nicely done.
Look, I think GuMiho, strategically early on, he definitely outplayed Deer, but had that bad rally on the Banshee.
Wow.
And then the second Banshee just died immediately, and it's like the third one got 10 kills, and the fourth one got 5. And this is when Deer had 100,000 years to prepare for Banshees at this point. So I look at this game and how GuMiho tried to come back, and I got to go with you. I think GuMiho's gonna win this series at this point. I almost got to pull back my support for Deer. I think that GuMiho strategically played this game so well. There were mistakes, and he lost, and Deer won, and that's great for Deer. But I think GuMiho, like, he's on top of things right now. Yeah, a misrallied Banshee, okay, well.
I think that when you see that conceptually what he was trying to do in game 2, it's like, okay, you're pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did make the one mistake, which was not babysitting the Banshee, not hiding it. In fact, just spilling it onto the vision of his opponent's army.
Spilling it into Phoenix.
Yes, it's one way to lose. Let's see if he pulls it together here in game 3. In the bottom right, in the blue, the Tal Terran.
Psystorm Gaming, GuMiho.
In the upper left, in the red, he is
Deer.
Now, I will say, kind of to go off what you were saying, Artie, I don't think that Deer's feeling great about the series so far.
Yeah.
Like, even though he won that last game.
Yeah.
You know the moment that you see that those... I love seeing that two people duck only to reveal one person in the back. All right, now I'm on camera.
And that person ducks and it just goes on forever.
what was I going to say? Oh, just, that's great that he caught the Banshee, but that's also a moment where you think, that could have killed me. I mean, those Banshees later on still killed all those probes. It's just...
I actually,
you know what I'm talking about? You know when you win a game, but you're like not that happy with it because there's so many things that went wrong.
That's every game I play.
Yeah, it's yeah, this is true.
No, you're very right. Like, I'm so certain that GuMiho wins that game if he had just rallied that Banshee into the main base. Like, the amount of probes he gets that early, oh my god. You have to actually wait for the Banshee to run out of energy because you have no detection. That's it.
Yeah.
It's going to run out, and maybe then you have an Oracle pop out. And it's like, okay, well... Yeah, so I kind of agree with you.
They can keep making more and more.
Well, I'm looking at the series, and it feels like GuMiho strategically might be a step ahead during this series. And it hasn't 100% worked out, obviously, which is why we're at 1-1. But he's looking good. He's looking strong. Now, of course, it could have just been a little bit off by Deer there, right? He was trying to do some harass. It wasn't really working. He ends up pulling it out anyways, which is definitely like a sign that he's playing well. GuMiho makes a mistake and he wins because of it. It's like, okay, well, there you go. Everyone makes mistakes in StarCraft. Only Innovation and TY play perfect games from time to time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Not even them, but I mean,
I get what you're saying.
We'll see how it goes.
We have a kind of Stargate open in here. Looks like we're going to have that Oracle come out. GuMiho has checked out the quadrant on his side of the map for any proxies, any hidden play. Now we have that Adept coming in here. Now, these Marines are not in a position to catch this Adept. Oh, maybe they actually are if he traps it like this and shows only 2. And then you think,
that.
Yeah, okay, so that's exactly what you want to do. That was really smart.
Nice flank.
These are the little subtle things you can do in a game like this that throw the other player off so much.
Yeah.
It might look like, to the eye of an average player, like, oh, well, he lost at Adept. That's annoying, but he's probably fine. Not really, man. Not at this level of play. You really needed that Adept to keep getting more reads on your opponent.
Yeah.
And to just do a simple catch like that to come around and smash it is so good.
The Oracle coming down right now. He's making a Raven pretty early on, so that's kind of interesting to see. Gonna have to block this Oracle really, really well. Flies right into the Marines to start.
He's rotating around now. Does get 1 SCV. Looks like that was a freebie over there. But yeah, the Oracle hasn't gotten in here and done that much yet.
Nope. Quite a few Marines sitting around guarding. Siege tank on the way. So it looks to me like he's going to do a quick attack on a third base for Deer.
You think he's going to get the 3 tanks and push out?
Wait, did Deer add the Twilight already? Because he's making a forge right now.
I have not been looking, to be honest. Is he going to bait out a turret here? All right, there it is. Gotta be careful.
Wow, gets out of there.
Super close. You can see actually GuMiho was waiting for the exact last moment so that they were far enough in that the turret could do the most damage.
Okay, he went Forge and Twilight here on 2 bases with 3 gates. He's made 2 Oracles. Okay, so the Twilight's like a little tiny bit late, but when you go for the 3 gates and the Twilight and Forge before that 3rd Nexus, a lot of timing attacks that Terran tries to do against you just come up short because you're going to have your upgraded units a lot quicker. Oh, God. There's a mine there, so you had to turn around into the Viking.
Got cornered there. And the Viking's still doing some damage. It looks like this should just barely get away.
Just barely.
But yeah, you might be right, Artosis. He might have the ability to slow down other pushes that would have ideally come in there and done damage. Now, the Oracle has only killed off workers. It hasn't really affected any of the main army. But it doesn't look like Terran's necessarily going to push right away here. He's just going to go...
Oh!
Artosis, it's happening. Your dream come true.
Oh, GuMiho.
The greatest unit composition in the game.
Based Gumi God here,
Mech.
going mech against Protoss. I have dreamed of this moment for so long, Tasteless. For GuMiho to finally show the world how to mech against Protoss.
He's like a pixel away from being hit by that. Okay, great pickups here. Gets the tank.
Dude, this is so...
Now, does he go first? You think he's going to go tanks, or is he going to do anything like Cyclones to just try to push out? He's also...
Dude, I don't know because
he sees there's a factory making, by the way. That's enough.
If you see mech is on the way against you, you should be able to stop it as Protoss. he's getting glaives, which is not a useful upgrade against it that much. I mean, obviously you can still harass and stuff like that. Obviously it makes your adepts better, but adepts themselves are not good against mech. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, I think what he's going to need to do is, I don't know, because here's the thing. I mean, I have some experience seeing mech on the ladder occasionally, but everyone has their own brand, and it's all cheesy because it's like, it's just really hard to do anything against Protoss with mech. So the most legitimate quote-unquote mech strategy is some defensive mech into BCs.
Really?
That's the and if we end up going into BCs, I can definitely talk at length about that, but this is GuMiho, so you just don't know. He might have figured out how to go mech against Protoss.
2 Thors in production.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, those are really, I mean, with the additional armor and stuff, they're very good against all these flying units. You can just use them defensively against harassment.
Does he want to push out with just the 2 Thors coming up here? Is there a specific timing? Because there's so many Phoenixes out here that to simply bring 2 Thors with this. Because the Thors are almost out. These Phoenixes are not going to stop the CC from landing.
Yeah.
That much is clear.
He's getting +1. Oh, okay, he's going 1-1. So this is a mech bio hybrid, I think.
That's a lot of upgrades to have on 2 bases before you even started mining for
What
your
is
third.
this? What am I looking at? He's going 1-1 with +1 for mech, and he doesn't have stim, right? He doesn't even have stim. He doesn't have a medevac, but he's getting 1-1.
Wait, are we sure he didn't get stim? That seems a little bit weird.
Everything about this is weird. Yeah, he didn't get stim yet. See, he's just now getting that tech lab. Is he going mech to secure everything and then into mass bio?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it definitely denies any functionality from the Phoenixes to have the Thors here.
Yeah, and like
it's much easier for Terran to have no stray units.
When there's this many siege tanks and stuff, you can't attack them, right? GuMiho's safe. Like you'll lose a few units here and there, but when won't you? But like this is so bizarre.
So we see Immortals coming out with mech units. You definitely want to watch and see if there's a Protoss. They're handling this correctly. Are there enough Immortals? There's also some Templars here.
Like he's countering mech very well with what he has here, right? Like if they have like lots of Hellions or Hellbats or Cyclones, Psystorm is really kind of the counter to those. They attack into you, you retreat and Psystorm them as they're coming. Immortal's obviously good against mech, right? Like these are quality units he's making, and once you've kind of whittled down those Hellions and Hellbat counts, then charge lots kind of beat everything at that point in the right numbers. So everything that we see Deer doing is good against mech, but the fact that we have stim and now 2-2 has started, and the thing is, he has no idea. You cannot scout that he is going bio, really, unless you click on one of these Marines and kind of realize it, right?
Whoa, what?
Yeah, that's...
I guess he thought he could kind of...
That was weird.
Adept bomb the tanks there. Like if he just lets them unshade, the tanks will all spray each other down with splash.
I guess.
Yeah.
Dude, this is so weird. I'm so fascinated. I love GuMiho so much.
Well, this is cool, and I will say, just seeing some of the little misplays there, like sending those adepts in like that, I don't feel too great about this being the pure test of does this work or not, but it's interesting.
Well, I need this game to go, the series to go to 5 games with 3 mech games.
Like, here's what's funny about it as well, Artos, is like, we've been in Brood War casting these guys go bio into mech as a very recent TVC build, and now here in StarCraft 2 we're casting games of
mech into bio.
Yeah, possibly mech into bio.
And it's against Protoss this time. It's like really
kind of weird,
bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the thing is, you can't really get inside the Terran's base and do anything with this, right? I mean, you can't really break this. Everything's got a ranged shot that hits you before you hit them.
Yeah,
on a very simple level.
You shouldn't be able to. Like, as Protoss, when you see something like this, you make sure you have Psystorm, Charge, Blink, that just kind of upgrades, and then you make a ton of Nexuses. Because this army, like, you have the more mobile army, so it's hard for them to attack you. He's going to attack in. I don't really like this attack in. We'll see if it works out for him.
Okay, auto turrets coming down here now.
Pretty good Psystorms.
Raining this down. Actually, he's just dominating this.
Holy God.
Wow, I guess is this what the Immortal unit's for? Does this just counter mech? Is that? I guess we learned that on day 1, but okay. So,
landed Vikings against Immortals.
Yeah.
Oh, the
who
humanity.
wins this fight? Well, that's funny. So this completely gets wrecked. GG. All right. That build's not good. Sorry, Artosis. I don't know. It looked like he shouldn't be able to get in there, and then it's just no.
This was so weird. So weird.
Well, it's weird because it seems like there's an idea there, and GuMiho is one of the best Terrans of all time, and then the application of it is so poor and doesn't produce anything at all.
Okay, so I will give you the fact that it did not work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will agree with you on this point and this point alone,
That
my
was
friend.
we're like hyped it up so much. Oh my God, he can't. He's gonna deal damage to him before he deals. Doesn't matter. He comes in there, sprays us down, feedback, Psystorms, melts everything. Wow.
Okay, so I have faith and trust in GuMiho that there is something to that strategy. And I don't think we'll see it again here. I want to so badly, it hurts, but
I definitely don't think we're going to see that again.
In the coming months, let's see. I mean, GuMiho, he has made things work that everyone's like, Swarm Host have killed Mech, and then GuMiho wins GSL on the back of killing Zergs with Mech, okay? Like,
crazy.
The guy is quite brilliant when it comes to strategies. So if he did that one game in this tournament that matters a lot on TV,
GSL SuperTournament.
I'm giving him time.
Season 2.
Well, let's see what he does now on Abyssal Reef. Deer wins one more, man. He moves on. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
Psystorm Gaming, GuMiho.
He gets points for bravery, trying out the weirdest build I've ever seen. It's like he's getting 3 upgrades at a time with no units. It's so weird.
In the upper left, in the red.
Deer.
Oh, man, if GuMiho does it again this game, just based on that game.
I really don't think he will. I mean, let's go back to that game that we just saw. Was there anything very specific builder-wise that happened that was that crazy early on? Really?
From GuMiho?
Well, from both sides, it would have allowed one player to try that or to shut that down.
Nothing.
Because it was actually a pretty milquetoast game just for early game PvT.
Yeah.
It was good.
The Raven was weird.
The Raven was a little bit weird.
It was like, okay, but I mean, he was setting
the Raven.
up.
Yeah. I mean, the Raven is just you building.
But Deer did nothing that would make you think that this is a counter.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is that we don't get to cast a lot of mech games, especially with certain unit comps, right? Like he went for 2 Thors right away there, so I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see this a lot. I'm trying to figure out this. This seems like it's good, but then when you see it actually unravel, and it's just like mass Psystorms nuking everything. There's so many Immortals when that fight's done with, and even if there's a bunch of infantry that Terran have remade because I guess they were trying to do that anyways.
Yeah.
Protoss is just warping in more Adepts and Zealots and whatever else they need to win that fight. And I think you had 6 Immortals left over.
Oh yeah,
those are not going to die.
No. Well, I mean, I agree with you that it did not work in this game, but
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it could be that Deer is a crafty and smart enough player that he just sees that and responds better than the people that GuMiho practice with.
Yeah, it definitely could. Well, the thing is, I look at that and I'm like, I don't want to attack into that. That's a lot of siege tanks. He's got enough anti-air that your Phoenixes are going to die instantly. Right? If you attack into that one time and it doesn't work, you're in a very difficult position then, right? That's hard to calculate and stuff, but Deer just manned up and went in. So, that definitely could be it, where GuMiho's practicing this and other Protosses are giving him room. They're like, oh, okay, well, you're going mech. I guess I'll just make a bunch of Nexuses. That's a normal way to beat mech in any game. Is
you just expand them, you outgrow them.
Yeah, and you're like, well, I can trade semi-inefficiently against you and win anyways. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd love just. Oh wait, he's making a second factory, but it's proxied. Ah, darn. Phooey.
Well, I hope we go to Game 5 here. I hope we go to Game 5 with every game we're casting, but Let's see if he actually finds this, because this Adept is now backing up.
Yep.
And this is really crappy for... Okay.
Okay, so he'll cancel his third Nexus off of this.
I just saw GuMiho's face when he saw the Adept come by there. That is just the worst.
Will he not? I guess he's not canceling his third. It's kind of interesting. Because it seems like that, yeah, okay. I was like, it seems to me that if your opponent
that Nexus
is
could be in hot water.
Yeah, if you're just making a bunch of Cyclones to attack, probably you can't make a third Nexus that quickly. Anyways, he makes a Void Ray. I think that's a very nice counter here. He's already got double Oracle. The anti-air, I don't know if anyone has told you guys watching this, but the anti-air on the Cyclone isn't really that
Okay, this is not looking good for GuMiho here. GuMiho had such a strong showing at the start here.
good. Yeah.
More SCVs are going to go down. We're getting to 10. And there's still just a little bit of energy left here on this Oracle.
Oh my God.
You won't have fun without your rocks at your natural.
Did you say you won't have fun?
New kind of music, rock and roll.
Oh my God. But hold on.
Well, he might have enough, dude.
Yeah, he's like repairing these pretty well. Ooh, he loses one of them there.
Okay, Void
loses
Ray.
two of them there.
Okay, SCV's unable to repair. There it is, GG. Whoa.
Ooh,
Whoa.
GuMiho's super unhappy with this.
Yeah.
He just kind of took his heads up quickly with a very scowly look on his face. Clearly unhappy with his own play here in this series. And, yeah, looks like my predictions are...
Well, you were right, and I was wrong, Artosis. Deer handedly takes out GuMiho, despite GuMiho looking very good in Game 1, almost perfect in Game 2. He had the right idea, just not the execution, and things just got worse and worse in Game 3 and 4.
Yeah, Games 3 and 4 definitely not going his way. I love this play. I mean, I guess I generally do. He's such a strong strategic player, but Deer's showing just kind of stability in this series, and that's all he needed to take down GuMiho tonight.
That's right. We're not done yet, guys. We got one more best of 5 tonight. This is just day 1 of the Super Tournament. Every day we get a little bit deeper. We're going to wrap this up on Sunday, so we have 3 more days after today. Really good games tonight. I am a little bit bummed we did not get to see what exactly was the plan with that mech bio kind of fusion build of tech.
I really hope that he's pops it up and uses it elsewhere. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen anything like
it. I mean, I just don't know what that was, and we kind of talked ourselves into thinking it was good until it got completely owned by some basic Protoss. So I was like, oh, okay.
Just because you get owned by Protoss doesn't mean what you did wasn't good.
We're going to a short break. We come back, our final best of 5 for day 1 of the Super Tournament.
You're